Greetings Muttonistas, it is a sunny day and I'm in England, so obviously I would have to be in Manchester. It's also a Saturday afternoon, so it's going to be a football vlog today, so join me for the Matchday vlog of Fulham at Manchester City in the 23-24 Premier League. So no fancy foreign intros like for the Newcastle vlog today. Everything's going to be shot in Manchester. And if you remember, in the past I've taken you for a food segment at Panchos Burritos in one of the little stalls dotted around the side of the stadium. I did mention at the time that they have a city centre outlet in the Arndale Centre. So I thought I'd better take you there today for the food segment because they have a much bigger array of foodstuffs for sale here, and of course they serve alcohol. And some of you might not realise that although the Arndale Centre is a big retail mall right in the heart of Manchester, that there is a little market on the side, lots of interesting food stalls. So I'm going to give you a quick tour before we get down to business and order some Mexican food. It doesn't travel that well in the UK, but this place has won awards and I've obviously eaten there before and I quite like what I had, even though it isn't 100% authentic. Okay, we've reached our destination, and as you can see on the wall behind, it's been visited by the BBC, so I think you can rest assured that the food's going to be of a decent quality, and probably I'll be able to confirm that to you in about 10 minutes' time. Wow, and look at all these sauces here. Surely I'm going to be able to get a hot one. There you can see the variety they have here: burritos, enchiladas, quesadillas, tostadas, nachos and tacos. Most of these items involve some way of preparing flour tortillas, whether they're soft, fried or whatever, stuffed with a variety of items. I hope I'm going to be able to mix and match. And a Dos Equis beer, which should slip down pretty nicely. Come on, City. Yeah, that's good. I'd like some of the hottest sauce you have as well. I want the spiciest. No, very spicy. So there we are, folks. We have our 3 quesadillas. I'm glad that I was able to mix and match, which I much preferred as to having the same meat in all 3 of them. And I've gone for these because they're a little bit lighter. Yes, they have cheese, which is heavy, but they don't have rice or extra carbs in the middle. Just the tortilla, the cheese, the meat, and those veggie sides I got, including that blisteringly hot sauce, or at least I think it's going to be blisteringly hot. Hope I don't regret it later in the day. Okay, I'm not sure what was in that herbal mix, but I think I'm going to enjoy trying it with that hot sauce. Now, whilst most people order burritos in these sorts of places, they are the most filling and often the most economic choice. I've been around Mexico a bit and I don't actually recall seeing them. I remember the taco is king, but I saw enchiladas and these quesadillas, so let's see whether they're up to scratch. Okay, we're starting off with the beef, and it looks as if the tortillas are whole wheat, which is quite interesting. We'll have some chilies to give it that je ne sais quoi. And I'm glad I'm eating this standing up, otherwise my shirt would end up as a mess. Now for the lamb. Now, I didn't see lamb on the menu much in Mexico when I went there. Usually chicken, pork or beef, but let's see how it goes. I do like a bit of lamb. Yeah, more flavoursome than the beef. The beef was good, but the lamb's the best so far. Now, the sauce is hot, but not as hot as I would have thought it would be, but maybe that will be a blessing in disguise. Anyway, on to the pork, the cochinita. I think it's cooked in lime and chilli. Also very good. I like the Mexican cheese when it's presented this way, usually cooked into something. Not a big fan of it on a cheese board, but this way is pretty tasty. So yeah, the pork was good, but I think the lamb's the winner here. Anyway, I'm going to polish this off, have a quick slurp, and I'll be back with you shortly. Okay, Muttonistas, time is getting the better of me, so I've had to go to the little micro bar inside the market, but it turned out to be a good decision, because they let me try all the casks so I would know which one to pick, and I've gone for a golden ale, and it's quite a hoppy little number, which I always appreciate. So, on to football. City have started well, 3 wins. We haven't really clicked, in my opinion. We're not on fire, but we've done enough. And I have to say, that match at Sheffield United did worry me a bit, insofar as we were not able to convert chances into goals. Fulham, on the other hand, had a great result at the Arsenal last week. They scraped a 1-0 win in their first game against Everton, who have not looked good at all. I mean, even in that game, Everton really had the better of it, but as always, couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. And their other result was a 3-0 gubbing at home to Brentford. Their star striker Mitrovic has left, leaving them a little bit short. They have brought in Jimenez from Wolves and strengthened a little bit at the back. And for City, our new signing Jeremy Doku starts today. It'll be interesting to see how he plays. He looked very exciting when I'd seen Ren on the television. No Grealish today. I didn't check the bench, but somebody told me he maybe wasn't even on the bench. Foden gets a recall, and he's been playing well enough to deserve it. ALVAREZ and Haaland, of course. And at the back, it's close to our established lineup, although Gvardiol drops out. We have Ake, Akanji, Diaz and Walker, with Rodri and Kovacic in the middle. Anyway, I see this as being a straightforward 3-0 win for City, although the last 2 times I said that, they turned out to be 4-2 blockbusters. Anyway, I'm hoping for a stressless day. Come on, City. There's an awful lot of work going on here at the stadium, and so some of the pre- and post-match bars I go to aren't actually open anymore. I'd also recommend taking the bus rather than the tram, because the access from the tram has become more complicated. Not even time for a swift half today before kick-off. 19 minutes in, pretty scruffy start, nothing has happened except for that Tom Kearney, their number 10, has been injured and has come off. He'd been sticking pretty close to Rodri, so that might make a bit of a difference, because I think they'd employed a good tactic there. Well, interestingly, Foden and Doku had swapped wings, and Foden had been causing all kinds of havoc down the right. The goal itself came from a centrally played ball. Looked as if Haaland had been put in, but what looked like an accidental assist put in ALVAREZ, but it's been checked for VAR. No sooner had that happened that City defend a corner really sloppily. The ball bobbles around, Ederson palms it away. Fulham player there first. Very disappointing. Everybody claimed offside, but no flag went up. So City 1, Fulham 1, back to the drawing board. Gone. Here we go again, another offside check. Was that to do with interfering with the goalie's vision? Because Ake seemed a long way out. It's been given again, probably the last kick of the half, because the clock said there are about 10 seconds left of injury time. It was a beautifully flighted corner from Phil Foden, and this time Fulham's turn to misdefend a corner. Precise header from Nathan Ake, half-time surely imminent, 2-1 City. And the Fulham players are still having afters with the referee. We haven't kicked off again. Half-time, City 2, Fulham 1. I've had to change and think about what I was going to say, because it looked for most of the half as if Fulham were really doing well, closing down spaces, marking tightly and offering some threat going forward. Not much, but some. The game for the first 22-23 minutes was completely sterile. Not much happened until Doku and Foden swapped wings. Now Doku is playing his first game, so some mistakes are to be expected, but Foden really did terrorise the Fulham defence down the right, and I think their slight adjustments helped open up the middle of the pitch a little bit for City's first goal. Kovacic moved the ball forward, and I'm probably being a bit harsh on Haaland. Having looked at a replay, maybe didn't mean that. I'm still not quite sure whether that was a shot that was miscued or whether it was a cross. And then City were all at 6s and 7s at a corner. Chop came in, nobody marking, and then I'm afraid Ake was too slow to react. And after Ederson saved, the Fulham player, I'm not sure who he is, I'll leave a note, he got there first. And I was about to report how this match looked like a bit of a banana skin, how we could possibly drop points here. I've seen it before, but that second goal, what a time to get it in the 50th minute when there were only 5 minutes of time added on. And having marked and closed space down so well, the Fulham defence gave Ake the freedom of the park. Great of Phil Foden to find him with that corner there, and the header, whilst it wasn't a bullet header, it was precisely guided into the corner. Some complaints about offside, but the ball wasn't touched. I don't think he impeded the goalkeeper any more than you could claim that Sheffield United's equaliser last week came about as a result of such impediment. So Marco Silva's half-time talk has gone up in smoke. He's going to have to change everything. It's taken a bit of the pressure off City. I've got my half-time pound. Lots to look forward to. Come on City in the second half. waiting to see what the ref's given. Looked as if he cleaned him out in the penalty area and denied a goal-scoring opportunity. So, I mean, this could be penalty red or both. Delicious ball to put Alvarez through as well. Was it Ake who did that? I'm not quite sure. Yellow being flashed at the keeper. What's he... Oh no, yellow flashed at Pereira, so it's not going to be a sending off. Just the penalty, but I'll accept that. And having missed at Sheffield United last week, let's hope Haaland can get back into the penalty scoring groove. No mistake this time. Smack into the corner at a good height. No chance for the keeper. 4-1 City. 3 points in the bag, and the comfortable afternoon I expected. Season before Erling Haaland had managed a hat-trick, but he's got one now. I mean, didn't Sergio Gomez do well to get through the defenders and slip that crossover? And Haaland made no mistake. Really good afternoon for City now, 5-1. Welcome back to the Muttonistas. That game turned out a bit better than I thought it was going to do. I'm back on the Faith Hazy Pale Ale, one of my favourites here. After what was looking like a tedious 20 minutes and a scrappy first half, the game really did burst into light, didn't it? Fulham for a while really were fulfilling their game plan, keeping it tight, packing the midfield and offering a little bit of threat up front, not too much, but there was some, which is very important in these situations because otherwise you get swamped. Now, I know Pep Guardiola is recovering from some back surgery and hopefully, given there's an international break coming up, that'll be his last match away. But I'd like to know who told Foden and Doku to switch wings. Was it the assistant manager on the bench or was Guardiola sending them messages? I'm afraid I don't know. I'm not in the loop, of course. Anyway, whoever decided it made a fantastic decision. Foden was murdering his man on the right, and that in turn led to some extra space in the middle. Kovacic, who had a pretty solid game again, was able to feed Haaland. Now, I still aren't quite sure whether that was an intended assist or a shot. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt there, even though at first I thought he'd skewed a shot. And after a VAR decision again, what's going on? 2 VAR decisions in our favour in a game. But anyway, Alvarez was fastest to the ball and slotted it home. City then fell asleep immediately afterwards, horrible defending from a corner, which in turn was matched by Fulham in the very last minute of extra time, who basically gave Ake the freedom of the park to slot a precise header into the corner. It's a very weak header, and I was slightly surprised the keeper couldn't get there, to be honest. There'll be a lot of controversy about whether the goal should have stood, whether Akanji was blocking the line of sight of the keeper. Yeah, sure, he was offside, but he definitely didn't touch the ball. Last season, we wouldn't have got that goal. Fulham were indulging in a copious amount of time wasting at 0-0 and 1-1, and thankfully more time is being added on. Let's face it, if you don't add the time on, the supporters are being cheated, they're not getting enough football. and that goal knocked the stuffing out of Fulham. They produced virtually nothing in the second half. City were all over them. Okay, the third goal needed a little beneficial deflection into Haaland's path, but eventually that goal was definitely coming. Yes, he hadn't done much in the first half, but when his chances came in the second half, he took them. After last week's penalty woe, a crisp penalty into the corner, which was close to being unsavable, and then a sharp finish after Sergio Gomez did great work to beat his man and pull the ball back. Very much a classic City goal. We used to get a lot of goals like that before we started playing inverted wingers. I've mentioned Kovacic. He seems to have slotted in well. I guess you don't get to play for Real Madrid if you're not a good player. But also, I have to note that Calvin Phillips, when he came on for not too many minutes, actually was playing a lot better and passing balls forward a lot better. So a lot of positives all around to be taken from the game. And of course it remains to be seen if Jeremy Doku slots in properly, because I mean he really was being very careful in possession rather than taking people on. But the one time he got past his man, he looked pretty dangerous. Anyway, Muttonistas, I'm going to wrap it up now. I'm going to have to love you and leave you. The next football vlog is West Ham away, so please join me for that. But until then, please remember, keep liking, keep sharing, keep subscribing, keep telling your friends about me. But most of all, don't forget, you can't beat a bit of mutton.